Hello, friends, and welcome to Still Becoming. I am your host, Candace. But today I want to talk about something that comes for all of us sooner or later. That moment when the invitation to step forward arrives before the feeling of readiness does. When life says it's time, but your inner voice says, wait, not yet, I'm not ready. Now I think of this as a threshold moment. Like you're standing in a doorway holding onto the frame with those white knuckles because the next step feels big. Maybe it's a new job, a relationship, a creative leap, or even a personal boundary you've needed to set for years. And you find yourself asking, how do I step forward when I don't feel ready? So I want to start with a story from my own life. A few years ago, I was invited to speak at an event. It was a large one, much larger than anything I'd done before. I had spoken in front of dozens before, but this would be hundreds, and I had exactly 1 week to prepare when I felt I needed 30. So my first thought, there's no way, I'm not ready. It's not going to happen. But as I sat there, staring at that email, I realized something. I might never feel ready. And if I kept waiting for the feeling to arrive, I might miss the chance entirely. Still, I felt that knot in my stomach. I questioned if I had anything worth saying. I imagined all the ways it could go wrong. But beneath all that fear, there was a small, steady whisper. You can do this. It's time. So here's something I've learned, and maybe you've experienced it too. Readiness is rarely a feeling. It's more often a decision. Psychologists even have a term for this, the readiness paradox. Research shows that our sense of being ready often comes after we act, not before. In other words, you might only feel ready once you've already started walking. Dr. Amy Cuddy, who is a social psychologist, talks about something similar when she teaches about body language. She says that acting as if you belong, as if you're ready, can actually help your mind catch up. The behavior leads to belief, not the other way around. So what do you do when it's time, but you don't feel ready? Let me share 3 practices that have helped me in those moments. First, name the truth out loud. When I feel that wave of self-doubt coming, I'll literally say to myself, I don't feel ready, and I'm doing it anyway. I've also used the phrase, do it afraid. Saying it out loud takes the sting out of it. It reminds me that readiness isn't a requirement for action. Second, shrink the leap into a step. Instead of looking at the entire mountain, I ask, what's the next small, doable thing? For that speaking engagement, it was writing the opening sentence, then rehearsing the first minute. Those small steps built momentum, and momentum built courage. Third, anchor to your why. Fear tends to live in the how, but courage lives in the why. I ask myself, why am I saying yes to this? If the reason connects to my values, my growth, or serving others, that's enough to steady my feet on the path. One of my favorite authors, Stephen Pressfield, says, the more important a call or action is to our soul's evolution, the more resistance we will feel toward pursuing it. The resistance is not a stop sign, it's a signal that you're on sacred ground. But let's go back to that day on stage. When I finally stepped up to the microphone, my hands were shaking, my heart was racing, my voice even wavered for the first 30 seconds. But here's the miracle. Once I began, I was too focused on connecting with the audience to be afraid. And when it was over, the sense of readiness I thought I needed had arrived. Only it came after I'd already done the thing, like a friend who's late to the party but still shows up in time to celebrate. So maybe that's the real secret. You don't wait for readiness. You create it by stepping forward. If you're standing on your own threshold right now, wondering if you should wait until you feel more prepared, consider this. Preparation is important, but perfection is impossible. And sometimes the only way to prepare for a role is to live it. There's a quiet kind of bravery in saying, I'm not ready, but it's time. And when you do, you might just find that you've been more ready than you ever believed. This has been Still Becoming. Thank you for sharing this time with me. If today's episode spoke to you, I hope you'll share it with a friend who might be standing on their own threshold. And remember, becoming isn't about having it all figured out. It's about moving forward one brave step at a time. Sending you much love, strength, and happiness. We will see you next time.